My girlfriend invited her ex to my place, and I'm beyond furious. I live in a big city in my own place. My girlfriend, Lily, shares an apartment with her roommates, but if I'm being completely honest, she's at my place more often than not. I would say she stays here about 80% of the time. Earlier today, while I was at the gym with my buddy Mike, she texted me saying that an old friend of hers was in town. She had not seen them in a long time and thought it would be nice to catch up somewhere quiet. I told her she could use my apartment and I would head out to grab dinner with Mike so they could have time to talk. Since I was in the middle of my workout, I did not think much about it. I just told her it was fine. I was in a rush, so I did not ask for any details, who this friend was, how long they would be there, nothing. Looking back, I really should have asked, because that old friend she wanted to catch up with, that turned out to be none other than her ex-boyfriend, Kyle. About 30 minutes after our conversation, I got a text from her saying they were in my apartment. I just responded with a simple acknowledgement and kept going about my evening. Mike and I wrapped up our workout around 7 in the evening and decided to head to Whole Foods to grab some food from their hot bar. We ate, hung out for a bit, and by 8:30, I was heading home. At this point, I was not expecting anything out of the ordinary. I figured I would get home, maybe say a quick hello, and then crash. It had been a long, exhausting day, and all I wanted to do was get some sleep. When I walked in, the first thing I noticed was a big pair of Timberland boots sitting by the door. Definitely not Lily's. Definitely not mine. That is when I started thinking, did her friend bring her boyfriend? If so, I was going to have to stay up and make small talk, which was the last thing I wanted to do at that moment. I kicked off my shoes, took off my jacket, and headed down the short hallway that led to the living area. As soon as I stepped into the room, I saw Lily sitting on the couch. Across from her was some guy. They were not sitting close, but they were locked into conversation, staring at each other. The moment Lily noticed me, she jumped a little. At the time, I did not think much of it. But now, looking back, it makes total sense. I was still clueless at this point. I greeted them, glanced around, and started looking for the friend she had mentioned. I figured maybe they were in the bathroom or something. Then I walked up to the guy, extended my hand, and said something casual like, "Hey, I'm Lily's boyfriend." That was when this guy, who I now know as Kyle, looked me straight in the face with the cockiest attitude and said, "I am Kyle, Lily's ex." I just stared at him for a second before responding, "Oh, my bad. I thought you were a friend's boyfriend." Then the room went completely silent, and that is when it finally hit me. My girlfriend had been sitting alone in my apartment with her ex-boyfriend for who knows how long. I turned to Lily and asked, "So, this is the old friend you were talking about?" She barely nodded and muttered, "Yeah," in a voice so quiet I could barely hear her. At this point, I was doing my best not to let my mind jump to conclusions. I was exhausted, irritated, and now, on top of it all, upset. But I did not feel like making a scene. I was also frustrated that neither of them was making an effort to keep the conversation going. The second I walked in, it was like they had both forgotten how to talk. Lily tried to break the silence by asking how my day was. I just shrugged and said it was fine, I guess. I could feel it. The tension, the awkwardness. It felt like I had walked in and interrupted something, even though this was my place. After a moment, I turned to Kyle and asked, "Hey man, do you mind wrapping this up? I have some things I need to discuss with Lily." He leaned back, crossed his arms, and smirked. She invited me over. We were still reminiscing about the good old days. I looked at Lily. She would not even make eye contact with me. That was the moment my patience snapped. I turned back to him and said, "All right, let me put it another way. This is my apartment, and I am telling you to leave." He did not move. Instead, he turned to Lily and asked, "Do you want me to leave?" That was it. That was the final straw. I completely lost it. What the hell do you mean by that? I do not care if she wants you to leave or not. I'm telling you to get the hell out of my house. Lily jumped up, telling me to calm down. Then, finally, she turned to Kyle and told him he needed to go. Kyle stood up and walked towards the hallway to grab his things. I followed him to the door, making sure he actually left. When I turned back around, Lily was glaring at me. "I cannot believe you just embarrassed me like that." I laughed in disbelief. "I embarrassed you?" She started going on about how my reaction was unnecessary and that she had told me she was having a friend over. "No, Lily," I shot back. "You said a friend was coming over. A friend. You never mentioned that this friend was a man, let alone your ex. She rolled her eyes and told me I was overreacting. You were alone with your ex in my apartment, I said, shaking my head. Do you not see how messed up that is? She started making excuses, telling me Kyle was going through a rough time and needed someone to talk to. She insisted she was just trying to be there for him. So, you thought the best place for that was my apartment? I asked. She told me that meeting here should have been proof that nothing was going on. That if she had something to hide, she would not have invited him over to my place. I called her out on that nonsense. If I was sitting alone with my ex, comforting her, you would lose your mind. She shook her head. No, I would understand because I have empathy. I laughed again. You got mad at me at the gym because a girl complimented my form while I was lifting. That shut her up real quick. She muttered something about being done with the conversation and stormed out of my apartment. I did not chase her. I did not call or text. I just sat on the couch, trying to process everything. A few hours later, I got a text from her. Can we talk? I am sorry for not telling you it was my ex I invited over. I did not want you to get the wrong idea. Nothing happened. Nothing is going to happen. I love you. He messaged me out of the blue and needed someone to talk to. I did not think much of it. I am sorry for deceiving you. That last part caught me off guard. I did not think much of it, followed by, I am sorry for deceiving you. If she had truly not thought about it, why did she feel the need to apologize for lying? She kept going. I wanted to talk to him at your place because I did not want you to assume something else was going on. Please talk to me. I love you. I have not responded yet. I have been thinking about it all night. Not because she talked to him, but because of how I felt while it was happening. I felt like an outsider in my own home, and that is something I cannot ignore. At this point, Lily had already stormed out of my apartment. I had told her straight up that there was no way she would be fine with me hanging out alone with my ex, just because she needed someone to talk to. She had no response to that. Instead, she got angry and walked out. I did not try to stop her. I did not call or text. I just sat there, still trying to wrap my head around everything that had just happened. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I leaned back on the couch and tried to take a few deep breaths, but it was pointless. My mind kept replaying the moment when Kyle had turned to Lily and asked, "Do you want me to leave?" Like it was up to her. Like my words meant nothing in my own home. I had held it together in the moment, but now I was boiling. I kept telling myself, let it go. It is not worth it. Just move on. But no matter how many times I repeated it in my head, I could not calm down. All I wanted to do at that moment was find Kyle and make him regret ever stepping foot in my apartment. I knew I needed to talk to someone before I did something stupid. So I grabbed my phone and said, "Siri, call old man." I had no idea what I was even going to say. I just knew if anyone could get through to me, it was my dad. The phone rang a couple of times before he picked up. I seen it already. Vo dropped 43 on them. He said, completely unaware of the storm raging in my head. I let out a small laugh, despite myself. It is not about basketball, Dad. I just got into a huge fight with Lily. I am really pissed off, and I do not want to do anything stupid. His tone shifted immediately. Whoa, where are you right now? Are you with her? Are you okay? I'm home. She just stormed out. I am chilling, but I do not know what to do. There was a long silence on the other end, and then I heard him take a deep breath. All right. Tell me what happened. So I did. I gave him the whole story the same way I told you all. The entire time, he just listened, did not say a word. When I finally finished, he only asked me one thing. What does Kyle look like? That question caught me off guard. I frowned. Why does that even matter, Dad? Just answer the question, he said. I sighed. I do not know. He is white, has long curly hair, and is maybe 5'9" at best. Dad chuckled. That explains the Timberlands. Man probably wears them to add a couple of inches. Male equivalent of high heels. I did not realize it at the time, but that was my dad doing what he always does. He knows I cannot stay mad when I am laughing, and he has a way of making me laugh no matter how angry I am. I shook my head, letting out a small laugh. You are right. How much do you think he weighed, he asked. I thought for a second. Maybe 150? Not much more than that. Then Dad got serious again. Lily only told him to leave after you started getting mad, right? Yeah, I answered. Another long pause. Then he took another deep breath. Son, I would not be surprised if the situation is a lot deeper than it seems. Think about it. She did not ask him to leave right away. She only did it after she saw how angry you were getting. She let him sit there in your house, knowing full well how wrong it was. And the moment things started escalating, she chose to remove herself from the situation and blame you for it. Now, let me ask you something. Where do you think she is right now? I did not say anything. I knew exactly what he was implying. Look, I know it hurts, but listen to me. Do not do anything reckless. She made her choice. There is nothing you can do to change that. You have always been solid. You have always handled your business. Do not lose yourself over something that, in the grand scheme of things, is just a bump in the road. Son, you are 22 years old, living in your own apartment in a big city. You are responsible. You're doing well for yourself. That is rare. You are rare. And one day, the right woman, the one who will truly have your back, will walk into your life when you least expect it. Do not waste your energy on someone who does not deserve it. Everything happens for a reason. I let his words sink in for a moment. Then I sighed. Thank you. I needed that, Dad. Of course. Your mom and I are always here for you. We said our goodbyes, and I hung up. That night, I barely slept. My mind would not shut off. Meanwhile, Lily had been blowing up my phone with messages, apologizing over and over again, begging me to talk to her. By the time morning rolled around, I was just over it. I had not responded to her at all since she left, and I had no plans to. She had made her choice. Now, I had to make mine. I forced myself to eat something, then went down to my apartment gym for a run. Lifting days, I go to a private gym, but on cardio days, I just use the one downstairs. Running helps me clear my head. Around 1 in the afternoon, my phone rang. I already knew who it was. I stared at the screen for a moment before answering. What is up? I said. The only response I got was quiet sobbing. I'm sorry, she finally choked out. I love you. Please talk to me. I should not have left last night. I panicked. I did not know what to do. I did not say anything. Please, she begged. This is not right. Just talk to me. I told you nothing happened. Nothing will ever happen. I love you. I swear I will never talk to him again. Just talk to me. Something inside me shifted in that moment. I did not feel angry. I did not feel sad. I just felt nothing. Can you come over around 3? I asked. Still crying, she answered quickly. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I hung up. Now, I'm just sitting on the couch, waiting for her to show up. Then, I hear a knock at the door. A few seconds later, she steps inside. She's crying, trying to smile through her tears. I do not even feel anything. That is when it really hits me. 2.5 years. Gone. Just like that. The woman I would have done anything for just a day ago is standing in front of me, completely broken, and I do not feel a damn thing. Lily, it is over, I say. She looks at me, stunned. What? It is over, I repeat. Her eyes widen in panic. No, 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 no. Please, I am sorry. Do not do this. I love you. I take a deep breath. Lily, I cannot do this anymore. I do not know what impression I gave you about our relationship, but I will not be with someone who disrespects me like this. You made your choice when you invited your ex into my apartment behind my back. That is something I cannot ignore. She starts sobbing harder. I swear nothing happened. Please, just give me one more chance. But I already made my decision. Lily, please, just take your things and go. She does not say anything else, just nods through her tears and starts packing her things. I grab a garbage bag and help her. By 4:30, she is gone, and I am just sitting here trying to make sense of it all. But no matter how much I think about it, one thing is clear. This was the right decision.